I'm Steven Sanchez, cinematographer for The Uninvited Guest. Let me show you some of the light setups. This is supposed to be a daylight scene, and they're supposed to have like a light on up here. So I decided to make a beam, and you can do that a couple ways. You can do that with either a tube light, or you can use a source for it. It's to create a soft light on the characters, because you'll see that, this would be fine for one character if they're sitting right here, but we have a couple of them here, and so I needed a soft light to light them and also provide a little bit more punch. So this is also part of the daylight. This one is coming down and hitting the floor just like regular light does. This is hitting the floor and then bouncing up. You don't really see this in the daylight shots, but it does have an impact on the scene. I'm using all tungsten because that's what I could afford. So here is, oh shoot, that's not good. So this is a byproduct of working with tungsten lights, is they are very hot. Welcome to my plight. So anyway, what this is I have a 2K, it's 2000 watts, and I have that pointed up at a reflector. I got a reflector for like, I think 20 bucks at Home Depot. During the day, you'll notice that there's two things going on. You have the ambient light of just the sky, and then you have the sun. The sun is a hard point, but the ambient light is just fill light, and so that's what the reflector is for. And I have a 2K hitting all of that, which is creating the fill, and then the redhead is basically acting as a sun. We wanted to shoot it in the chronological order, so I needed to be able to control the light. And so I tinted it with this tarp, basically a CTO set up to provide that warm orange light, and then the 2K is going to still be filling it in. So you have that mix of color temperatures. Redhead, that's still acting as a sun, but it's warmer now, and then this is going to provide the fill light. First of all, whenever you're dealing with hot lights, you want to wear gloves. Aim the 2K a little bit further down. That sucks a lot, and I'm glad I caught it in time. I use a lot of bounce light, and so I like the bounce because you can aim at various things in the room, and the bounce light collects the light from that room. Instead of having a softbox that's like 3200, you can shoot off of the wall, and it's going to fill in whatever the color of that wall is, so it's more natural. So that's going to create some fill light. And this is what it looks like with the CTO on the redhead, and then the 2K is still filling in the light. If you just have the redhead in here, it's going to be a very hard light, and that's not realistic. So you need to have a bounce light. What I would have done with, say, if I had an LED, I probably would have done the same thing. I would have used the Fresnel, or maybe the dish, but the reflector wouldn't have melted. That's what sucks about the 2K. Also, you can't run the 2K everywhere. Our very last setup, and this is, I really enjoyed doing this. I love doing the night stuff. And so that's a bug. That happens a lot. I don't know if you can see it, but there's smoke coming out of it. Mm-hmm. Bugs are attracted to, especially the 2K open face. Oh my gosh. For the nighttime, I put one of my favorite gels. This is a Roscoe Bermuda Blue. Shooting through daylight color, it's a nice cool blue, but whenever you throw tungsten light through it, it creates this teal. And I use that for my moonlight. Bouncing off of this isn't going to be good enough. And so I'm going to take this 2K and put a softbox on it. Instead of shooting an open-faced hard light through the gel, which makes it basically look like a blue sun, I've made it a soft light. Now I could have, this is a rectangular softbox. I could have turned it upright and stuck it onto the window, but then that would have filled too much of the room. That's not the way moonlight works. So it's got to be a little bit further away. And I turned it sideways so that the top would be a little darker, and just to give it some texture so it doesn't look like it's so evenly lit. It doesn't look artificial. And then the morning setup simply consisted of the fill light with the source for
bouncing off the ground and hitting the washer dryer area, and you can actually see the Source 4 beam in that area. I made sure that it would cover that as if that were the sun itself actually peeking through. Since it's in the morning, I thought that it would be cool to have the quote sunlight coming from the other side of the house instead of the window. So that was the idea behind that. And then the second time we did it, I started experimenting and realized that I could, if I dimmed down the Source 4, it would create a much warmer light, just like you would see it during a dawn. But by that time, we had already done the first setup. Those are the 4 setups we did for the uninvited guest. I hope you enjoyed.